Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Black Accountant. It's your boy Mo, and if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments of any kind of content you want to see going forward. So, I posted a video on LinkedIn a while back. Well, I didn't really post one. I reposted one from YouTube where there was this YouTuber who was talking about lying on your resume and if that was something that you should do. And that was a couple weeks ago. And now, like, just kind of circling back into that video, and I was recalling it and then thinking about it because I actually do resumes as a business. If you didn't know that, then you can go ahead and check that out. It's going to be resumeconsulting.com, or you can follow the Instagram page at resumeconsulting. Yeah, I had to plug that in real quick. So I thought it was a bit interesting because from what I've seen in terms of a lot of different facets and aspects of life is the system in America, or not even America anymore, really in the world, is set up in such a way that it's almost impossible to make progress or to succeed while retaining your like high levels of morality. And when I say that, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying doing so makes the journey that much more difficult. It takes a very long time to recruit. It takes a very long time to get a job. It takes a long time to really match the two together, if that makes any sense. So, in terms of lying on your resume, I think this applies more so to new college grads and applicants and people looking at entry level jobs because, as we all know, when you're coming into the workforce, the expectation is kind of ridiculous. Like, you're going into an entry level job, which in the name entry level means this is the entrance, like this is your beginning job. There's already a requirement, whether it's vocalized or not. Generally speaking, there's this expectation that you have anywhere between like 3 to 5 years of experience before your first entry level job. And while some may attribute it or argue that internships count and volunteer work, those count as your years of experience, it's not necessarily always enough. You could network very efficiently. You can be involved in clubs. You can do all that and not have work experience and still get into jobs. That's not the issue, because that applies to certain schools that have recruiting systems in place, that have metrics, that have contracts, that have professionals and a network that comes in to help people recruit and do those things. But for a large majority of students, this doesn't exist. So a lot of times they come into school, they finish their degree with this expectation of, if I focus solely on my studies and have a 4.0 GPA or like a really high GPA coming out of college, I'm going to have a job. Now, this is definitely not true in today's economy. And this hasn't been true for many, many years, despite what a lot of our parents and older generation believe. That's not the case anymore. You need to be a holistic individual to be able to land even the most basic of jobs now. So coming in, there's this expectation of having club involvement while you were on campus, to have some level of work experience, to have some like high-ish level of GPA, to be networking, to be well dressed, to look decent, to be very like focused in terms of the things that you post online. You can't be too opinionated. You kind of have to be this mellow individual, because if you get hired at a company, and when I'm talking in this specific example and this background that I'm giving, I'm referring to more corporate environments. There's this expectation that you need to be very well spoken and strategic with the way that you vocalize your opinion on things and different topics, because once you're hired at a specific firm or a company, your views reflect the company's views. And it's just kind of disappointing because so many students are going to fall behind from this, because nowadays a lot of people that are in college, and not even in college, people that are young or youthful, spend a lot of their time working. So that's already makes it difficult to focus between school and to focus between and your job as well, because you need to do well in both so that you don't kind of fall off. So how do you do all that and present it on your resume, especially for an entry level job, to get in? A lot of times people will tell you you should lie on your resume. And when we say lying, it doesn't mean actually lying and saying, hey, like I went to MIT or I went to Harvard, when in reality you went to like Antelope Valley College. That's just not feasible. A community college is not the same as that kind of prestigious university. What it means is you need to tailor the things in your resume to really, I would say, like so somewhat embellish like your accomplishments or achievements, because then it shows some kind of metric or some kind of achievement that you have, and it's not necessarily something that's very easy to prove. Um, and I know it sounds illogical or even somewhat immoral in its own way, but I believe that this is a strategy that a lot of people use now. And I think it's more so working smart than it is working hard, because anybody could really take a lot of these jobs. Skills can always be taught, as long as you have the mentality and the capacity to learn. So getting your foot in the door is probably the most important part. And if you're somebody that has that drive or that kind of mentality, then once you land that job, it's very easier. Like it's a much easier to kind of move past from there. I'm not saying the journey is just 100% easy peasy. I'm saying that once you've gotten the first step, as in putting your foot into that door, then other steps become that much easier. So, in my humble opinion, I don't believe you should necessarily lie on your resume. I believe that you should be carefully constructing your wording, being able to quantify as much as you can on your resume, and then outside of a resume, focusing so much on building a network. And building networks doesn't mean, hey, let me talk to this person real quick for like for an opportunity, and if they can't help me with this opportunity, well, I'm not talking to them anymore. No, you need to build out long-term networks. What that means is you're not looking to talk to people to gain an instant benefit. You're looking to make friends with people because, and especially people that aren't in the same arena as you, because the more diverse the people that you know are, the bigger your opportunities become down the line. So, like, if you're able to create a decent network of people that can actually vouch for you and know your character and know your face, that is probably way more important to your long term growth than it is to just get that entry level job. So, if you're able to, like, it's still important to get an entry level job to get in, but then these are the aspects that should be focused on. I don't believe GPA is like a major determining factor that much, because nowadays, or at least let me recall from my own college experience, a lot of my peers use test banks and use like materials and took snapshots of exams. So a lot of people had 4.0s, but when they graduated and got the jobs that they wanted, they were lost and they couldn't handle it because they didn't actually learn any of that material. It was just going in and passing exams, because that's what the college system rewards. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like with me being kind of a little bit convoluted and talking around the subject in general, back to the main point is that it takes more than a resume, it takes more than an application, and it takes more than a network. You need to do all these things together, and you need a support system. So that's why I'm saying networking is important, because make friends with the people in your peer group. You know, you can support each other that way. If you're lacking, if you're having a hard time because you have a job, if you're having a hard time because you're occupied with other things, somebody can help alleviate that burden for you, in the sense of, okay, this is what was covered in lecture since you weren't able to make it this time. Here, this is probably what's going to be covered on the exams. Let's test each other. Things along those lines. This already starts to build out that network. Maintain these things because it helps you down the line. Um, that's the main thing I wanted to really iterate or talk about on this specific subject. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.